Welcome to part 24 of our series, Secrets of Glessner House. Today, we are going to explore one of its more whimsical features, the Ouroboros, explaining its meaning and how it came to be incorporated into both the exterior and interior design of the house. The Ouroboros is an ancient symbol, depicted as a snake or dragon eating its own tail. It appears in many early cultures, including the Greek, from which the word is derived. Among the earliest surviving depictions are those appearing on pottery of the Yangshao culture in China, dating back more than 5,000 years. It also appears in the 14th century BC tomb of King Tutankhamun in Egypt. The creature, which survives by consuming its tail, was meant to symbolize the eternal, cyclic renewal of life, death, and rebirth, and, as such, the concepts of eternity and infinity. As seen in these images, it was frequently adopted by those who followed alchemy, the medieval forerunner of chemistry, which focused on the transformation of matter, such as base metals, into gold. Architect Henry Hobson Richardson was known to incorporate depictions of fantastical creatures into his buildings, especially in the early 1880s, just prior to designing Glessner House. Here we see a detail from the wood casing between the upper and lower sections of the arched windows on the old Colony Railroad station in northeastern Massachusetts. Wolf-like creatures bearing their teeth are seen at either end of the casing, which features classical egg and dart trim at the top. This example, carved in stone, is located above the main entrance doors of the Billings Memorial Library on the campus of the University of Vermont in Burlington. The creatures are similar to those seen on the railroad station and once again bookend a running length of egg and dart trim. On the City Hall building in Albany, New York, Richardson incorporated representations of several different creatures. The one seen here is interesting in that it is clutching its tail in its mouth, but is not a typical Ouroboros. It appears to be more like a feline, as opposed to the expected snake or dragon. This sketch shows an early design for the front facade of Glessner House. A number of changes would occur before the final design was approved. The area circled in blue shows the presence of a decorative band of trim below the center grouping of second-floor windows. Although sketched roughly, it clearly depicts a length of egg and dart trim with a creature anchoring either end. Exactly when the Ouroboros was decided upon for the house is unknown. John Glessner noted in March 1887, 9 months after construction began, that they had not yet settled on the stone carving. This view shows the house during construction. The blocks of stone that would become the Ouroboros were installed uncarved, confirming that the carving took place in situ. John Evans, a Welsh stone carver and partner in the firm of Evans and Tomb, was eventually selected to undertake the stone carving and traveled to Chicago in August 1887 to start work on Glessner House. Evans had worked on Richardson's buildings for 14 years by this time, including significant carving on Richardson's masterpiece, Trinity Church in Boston. He would have completed all the stone carving shown here, including the Ouroboros, egg and dart trim, carved capitals on the piers between the second-floor windows, and the tympanum over the front door. In this close-up view of one of the Ouroboros, we can see that they are based more on a dragon than a snake, with the head of the creature featuring a mane similar to a lion and resting upon what appears to be its paw. The tail of the Ouroboros becomes an acanthus leaf, repeating a detail featured on other carving, including, most significantly, the tympanum with its lush tree of life. The Ouroboros is also featured prominently inside the house. This large vase, which stands nearly 16 inches tall, always occupied a place of honor in the parlor, and prominently features an Ouroboros on one of the 4 medieval sailing vessels. The designer of the vase was William de Morgan, the well-known English potter, ceramicist, and longtime friend and collaborator of William Morris. During construction of the house, the Glessners purchased 2 sets of fireplace tiles and a tile triptych by de Morgan, in addition to the vase. De Morgan frequently depicted fantastical creatures in his designs, but the Ouroboros held special significance for him. His father Augustus, shown here, was a prominent British mathematician who spent considerable time trying to prove infinity mathematically. After the death of Augustus in 1871, the Ouroboros appears with some frequency in his son's ceramics. A number of special pieces, which are believed to have been personally hand-painted by de Morgan, feature this stylized Ouroboros as the mark on the reverse, surrounding the Latin word for infinity. In the years that followed, the Ouroboros became a central feature in several of de Morgan's designs, including the large dish seen on the left from the de Morgan collection in London, and the tile shown on the right. The Ouroboros, as depicted on the Glessner's vase, is but one of several creatures included in the overall design. In addition to a number of playful fish, each of the 4 ships has a large yellow-green sail featuring a different creature, a serpent, 2 types of birds, and the Ouroboros. One can't help but speculate whether the almost simultaneous appearance of the Ouroboros on the exterior of the house and the acquisition of the de Morgan vase with its Ouroboros was purely a coincidence or not. The historical record is silent, so we may never know for sure. Regardless, we hope you have enjoyed learning more about the Ouroboros, including its history and how it was incorporated into the design of Glessner House. Tune in next time when another secret will be revealed.